Hi, it's time to read again and find out what's happening with Hank. He just made a disaster at Gristiliano's apartment. Well, Cheerio did. And his parents came there. But Gristiliano wasn't really mad. Well, I think he was mad, but instead of having them pay for it, he said, please get Hank tested. He sounds like my daughter. So here's chapter 22. The testing place looked just like an office at school, which isn't surprising because it was an office at school. The walls were covered with lots of posters that kids had drawn. One showed a colorful butterfly. Another showed a family of puppies in a basket, telling whoever was looking at them to read a lot. Those puppies were cute enough to play with. The tester was Dr. Lynn Berg. She smiled when she talked and kept telling me to take deep breaths and relax. She must have been related to Frankie. That's what he always tells me. Take a deep breath and relax. We sat around a table facing each other. Dr. Berg had a little table right next to her with all her equipment on it. Blocks, Legos, pictures, pencils, and a lot of paper. I mean, lots of paper. Some pages were blank, some had shapes, some were divided into 4 squares. I was nervous. I wasn't sure why. Maybe because I hate taking tests, or maybe because I was worried the test would tell everyone that I really was stupid. Well, shall we begin? Dr. Berg asked. Sure, I answered, not really meaning it. Okay, first, I'm going to put a piece of paper in front of you and ask you to draw your family, pets and all. Does neatness count? I asked. No, Hank, this is not about being an artist, Dr. Berg assured me. Oh, remember, Hank doesn't feel like he's good at drawing. That was a clue earlier that he wouldn't like this. I picked up the pencil and stared at the blank piece of paper for a while. I didn't know how to draw people without making them look like sticks. Can I get a drink of water? I asked. Oh, he's stalling. Dr. Bird went to the corner of the room where there was a water cooler. She pushed the blue button and water rushed into a paper cup. She handed me the cup. I took a small sip. I really wasn't thirsty. I just wanted to get out of there. Try to relax, Hank. You're fine, she said. I drew a little squiggle on the paper. It looked like a hair. Do you understand what I've asked you for? Dr. Berg asked. I want you to draw any kind of picture of your family. I understand. I'm sorry, I said. I wasn't exactly positive why I was apologizing, but it sounded like the right thing to do. I started with Stan, the crossword puzzle man. I tried drawing him sitting in the dining room table doing crossword puzzle. The table got so big that it took up almost all the whole page. So I put the rest of the family there too. Everyone in the family was on one side of the table facing me. Mom, Dad, and Emily, and Catherine with Catherine on her shoulder, on Emily's shoulder. I even put a little piece of iguana poop on Emily's sweater. Cheerio was under the table. He came out looking like one of those really long bubbles that I used to blow when I was little. I hope this is right, I said to Dr. Berg. There are no right or wrong answers on this test. I wish all my tests were like that, I said to her. Dr. Berg laughed. And I started to relax just a little bit. I sat back and looked at my picture. I noticed that we all looked exactly alike, even the iguana. Now I started laughing because it struck me funny that Mom had 3 twins, and one of them was a green reptile with a tongue a mile long. Dr. Bird asked me what was so amusing. It's just that my sister's pet iguana looks like her twin, I said. Do you all have dinner together? Yes, every night. My, such a lovely family you have. That's easy for you to say because you haven't seen my dad in his boxer shorts. Wherever did that thought come from? Please, let it go back right away where it came from? Dr. Berg laughed again. What a great audience. The next part of the test involved putting sets of odd shapes blocks into the exact pattern as one drawn on a sheet of paper. Dr. Berg put the blocks in front of me. I pushed them around until I lined them up perfectly to look just like the pattern on the testing paper. "Wow, you accomplished that test in record time," Dr. Berg said. "No kidding. I was the fastest person ever?" "I'm sure you are one of them," she said. That felt good. I began to think that maybe the testing thing was going to work out just fine. There was reading and vocabulary and listening to numbers and having to repeat them back. I worked the puzzles, looked at the splatter painting, arranged pictures in order. Some of the activities were fun, which made the time speed by really fast. When we were all done, Dr. Berg walked me out into the hall where my parents were waiting. She told us she would go over the results and we would hear back in a week. Hear what? Hear that I had to change school? Be left behind? That I'm not smart enough to go to school in the first place? Boy, I started to get nervous. Boy, 7 days can be an awful long time to wait. Come back for chapter 23.